Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. Today, we're going to talk about another myth, and this is a highly extended myth, and it's about yoga being a competition. Yoga is competitive. Nothing further from the truth. That doesn't. I'm gonna now elaborate a little bit on it. Okay, that doesn't mean that there are not yoga competitions, but that doesn't mean that yoga is a competition. You know what I'm saying? so so I think there are yoga studios or yoga places or places where yoga is practiced that have this energy, this aura of competition. It starts like, even, there's someone who does face reading, and I sometimes get face reading from him, and he is in Asia a lot, and he was telling me that in Asia, in Hong Kong, when he will go to a yoga class, people will be already looking at each other like, what is he wearing? What is she wearing? Like this. I was so surprised, that in that Hong Kong is a huge competition. And here in Switzerland, I have also, when I was doing Bikram yoga, I also experienced that, where teachers, not well, teachers, students, where the aura of the place of the class, was like that, like, oh, how far can she stretch here? How long can she hold the posture? Things like that, and you could sense like people were like in competition with each other, and like if someone will fall out of the posture, uh, you will feel, and you will still hold in the posture, you will feel sense, that the other person was like, oh, I lost it. you know and and it's a competition, that is there, that it's really not part of the essence of yoga. It doesn't have to be there. That doesn't mean that, you cannot join a yoga, how do you say this, yoga. There are events. Yeah, there are events where, you know you have to perform, so yoga practice, where competitions, yeah, and then you are rated, but that happens with anything, let's say it happens with piano, but really playing the piano and being a pianist or being an amateur pianist, it's not a competition, it should not be a competition. And um, and with yoga, it's even more, the fact that it's in its essence not a competition, because like, it's like if you will say, oh, I go to the gym and I lift weight and I get healthy, and that is a competition. No, you shouldn't be going to the gym and comparing yourself to the people around you, like, oh, look at her, look at she, what a body she has, and look at me, oh, how many repetitions does he or she does, in this pose. I only can do five, and they can do, you see how ridiculous is it, even when I'm just talking about it. It's very ridiculous, right? So it's the same with yoga. It's like, how ridiculous is it? Like, oh, how farther can she stretch, and I'm not able to stretch that much. How far, how for how long can she hold the posture? Look how long. Or, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And it's really, let me come a little bit closer. And it's really a pity, that there are places and there are environments that create this energy, around yoga, around a yoga class, around yoga teachers, because it's not far from the truth. And even if one day, even if you decide to join a yoga competition, in India, yoga competitions have been happening for ages. It's like any other competitions, martial arts competitions, where they have been happening for ages. But that doesn't mean, that their essence is that yoga is competitive, that their essence is the competition, nothing further from the truth. So even if you decide, like, oh, I want to join one of those competitions, remember to keep in mind, that the essence is a competition with yourself. It's about you, you being healthier, you being more aware, you being the best version of yourself, and you living your best life, and you're like, well, but I'm competing another against other people. The jury, right? The jury will the judge, the jury, yeah, the jury will rate me based on how I've done it with other people. No, no, that's a mistake. The jury will rate you based on how you do it, and they will rate the next person based on how they do it. They don't do it like, oh, look, he did it like this, she did it like this, and now let me rate her, with a higher degree, with a higher note than his competitor or her competitor. No, they don't know. Normally what they do, you do a competition, you go on stage, you perform, and they rate you and finish, and then the next one comes, right? And this is even with fitness. I used to do a fitness. I used to lift weight and with diet, for quite a long time in a very professional manner, and I did a competition, a body, but a fitness for women, competition. And it was just like that. You go on stage, you perform a choreography, and you show your body, you show your muscles, and then they rate you, and then the next one comes. So yeah, it is a competition in the sense that you are going through a competition. You have other people who also have prepared their yeah, their sequence, to be shared, their yoga exercises, the poses in this case, or even beyond just the yoga poses, asanas. It can be as well the the kriya, the kriya to clean the shakti yoga, shakti yoga, to clean, to clean your nose, those practices. Because for instance, when you clean your nose, with a neti potty, there is the way you do it, and that your calmness, your presence, all of that, it's being valued, it's being taken into consideration. So there are also competitions on that. So yoga, it doesn't matter what practice is, it can be asanas, it can be about wisdom, it can be about this cleaning, the cleaning process, it can be meditation. In its essence, it's not a competition, and if it's a competition, it's a competition for with yourself, with yourself, with your own life, with your own well-being. That's if you are looking for a competitive side of yoga, that's the competitive side that you should think about, the competition with yourself, like, oh, am I practicing my yoga practice every day? Did I do it today, or did I miss the last 2 days? How am I doing? How disciplined I am? How focused I am? Am I reading? Am I reading about wisdom, yoga wisdom? Am I doing my meditation practice? Am I eating healthy? Am I being in union with other people? That's the type of competition that you should have when it comes to yoga. Okay. So if you ever go to a place, where they make you feel like, oh, look how you are dressed, or look, you don't hold the posture for that long, or you are not flexible, just know that that's not part of yoga. And then you decide if you still want to be part of that environment, or you can do as I am saying, right, really maintaining the essence of yoga. You can say, okay, I know that this is not yoga, and I know that I'm coming here for myself. I'm coming here to do my own yoga practice. And as I say, even if one day you go to a competition, you know that you are there for yourself. Yes, you are competing, but with yourself, with how how far can you go in your practice, how disciplined you become, how more knowledgeable you get about yoga, and how much you practice, how much you improve your life, and when you do those things really at a very, very good level, your vibrations will tell, your vibrations you will tell. You don't need to compete with anyone. You don't need to show anyone that you are more flexible, you can do this, or that you are dressed like this or dressed like that. That's out of context, your essence, your presence will speak for you. Okay, so thank you very much for joining, and I hope this video was helpful, and see you in the next one. Bye.